Alright, so, welcome back to the channel. So, first of all, we're going to have to do two things. First of all, excuse my voice, I'm slightly under the weather. And excuse how I look. It is currently 2 AM in the United Kingdom. I've been doing a lot of stuff all night with some people, some work, some YouTube related. It's been a long day. But, thought, for the channel, the first Summerslam for the channel, needed to get it out there. And so, we're going to start off with Bayley and Nia Jax. So, Nia Jax wins the Queen of the Ring tournament earlier, a few months ago, and to be honest, I haven't been excited for this feud, which is crazy because the other women's match we're going to talk about is outstanding levels. I think it should main event it, if anything, except for one match, but Bayley Nia Jax on paper a really good rivalry. I mean, we go back to 2015, back in NXT, when Bayley was just hitting a really high point, and Nia Jax, due to clumsiness, according to Bayley, on a recent episode of SmackDown, injures her, and so on and so forth. Whatever happens, happens. They both still become stars. Bayley, one of the horsewomen of wrestling for women, and Nia Jax really just hitting a new level. She's so much better than she used to be already. So I think what we have to take into account here is there is history there, but the baseline viewer who doesn't watch NXT, didn't watch Black and Gold, didn't watch NXT UK, the baseline WWE audience that is going to watch Raw, SmackDown, and PLEs probably has no reason to get excited for this. If I'm being honest, they haven't done much to hype it up. They haven't done much. The most exciting part about this has been Tiffany Stratton, I have to say. And she's not even really... She might be involved in the match, she might even cash in, but that's been the most exciting thing. When Nia Jax floored Bayley, and then she teased that Money in the Bank cash-in moment, that was the biggest hype for me. It just... This feud hasn't really done much for me. So, personally, I'd say they've done a little bit of a poor job so far at building this up. However, in ring, they're both professionals. I think Nia Jax has gotten so much better than she was before, and I think Bayley is one of the best women to ever do it. So it's going to be a good watch. And the tease with Tiffany Stratton, how she's going to get involved. Will she betray Nia Jax? Will she come out with the new briefcase this Friday and then completely align herself even more? We'll see. However, if I had to make a prediction, I think it's going to be Nia Jax by way of maybe interference or just sheer dominance. We might be looking at a possible thing we're going to talk about the World Heavyweight Championship between Damian Priest and Gunther, but it could be one of those situations where Nia Jax just shows her power over a superstar, which Damian Priest is now, and just flattens them like Gunther could very well do to Damian Priest. But focusing on Nia Jax versus Bayley, I think Nia Jax wins, probably with shenanigans, but either way she wins. I think Bayley's title reign since WrestleMania has been amazing. That match against Io Sky was incredible, but I think we've seen that reign play its course. I haven't been bored by Bayley, but I think something needs to change in the SmackDown division. I think if Tiffany Stratton were to cash in, fantastic. I just think it'd be a waste of a special looking briefcase, and WWE is all about marketing, so they're going to sell that on the masses, 200 quid instantly. So yeah, that is Bayley versus Nia Jax. Nia Jax wins, slight shenanigans, interruption by Tiffany Stratton. Nia Jax walks out your new world undisputed WWE Women's Champion. Before we move on to the other announced match, I wanted to talk a little bit about what I think was a snub. Now, 7 matches is that sweet spot for WWE right now. I think it doesn't need to be too much. A 4-hour, 5-hour show is perfect, even for the biggest one of the night, even for the biggest match of the night, or in the calendar. However, we think about some of the WWE tag team titles, DIY, all of that, whatever. That doesn't need to be there, but it would have been fine. But I think this was where you've got to debut, the Wyatt Six versus Chad Gable and the Creed brothers. We saw the Creed brothers stand up with Chad Gable. Chad Gable didn't run away in the most recent match on Monday Night Raw. We saw them all stand up against the Wyatt Six, and then the unmasking, the really good unmasking, and then they did some really good moves, showed their in-ring ability way earlier than I thought they would, but because they've teased it now, I really want a match. We've already seen a Sister Abigail from Uncle Howdy. I think it's a missed opportunity, especially because The Fiend debuted back in SummerSlam a long time ago. SummerSlam has a lot of ties to Bray Wyatt as a whole, but missed opportunity. but I suppose they'll pay it. It's Triple H. They'll pay it off in the future. Either way, but yeah, I think a little bit of a snub there. But yeah, my only gripe going into the SummerSlam. If we go back to reality and stop me, booking in my mind, doing some fantasy booking. So, the next match that we're going to talk about, I thought we'd do this in a couple because the contrast is insane. Let's do the other Women's World Championship title match that's going to take place at SummerSlam, which is Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, the champion being Liv Morgan. This has been the most entertaining, funny, and slightly cliche, but quality has been through the roof for everything building up from this. From the second Rhea Ripley had to drop the title because of that backstage segment where she injured her shoulder, all the way through the Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan love affair, all the way to Mummy coming back home. She comes back, she breaks everything, she gets disinfatuated with Dominic Mysterio and then back into it because Dominic Mysterio breaks Liv Morgan's heart. I think we're going to see a completely different Liv Morgan, not this like flirty, almost like succubus character. We're going to see like a demonic, well, we saw it in that little hype package where she was burning all of Dominic's stuff. We're going to see something, I think, a different side of her that I think she's going to thrive in. Not that she's not been thriving, I think she's done so good so far in this role, but so far, I think, yeah, we've got the potential to have like a really good trilogy here, or maybe even more. We could I don't think they will, but they could carry this to WrestleMania if they wanted to, with a couple matches. But it starts here, and if we're talking about a couple matches, a trilogy, something that can be carried, I don't, and this is going to be crazy, I don't think Rhea Ripley wins this match. I know she's the top of the women's division. Anyone else you see, past or present, Rhea Ripley right now in the WWE is just a different level. She is marketed as not just the next big thing, she is the big thing, and she will be the big thing. She is mid-20s, she is everything the WWE wants. So if she wins on Saturday at SummerSlam, the feud ends, because you maybe have a rematch clause, maybe. Liv Morgan does not take that offer, and it maybe she could, but I think Liv Morgan has to retain, and because of how influential Dominic Mysterio has been in this entire rivalry, he's been there through the whole of it. He carried it with Liv Morgan while Rhea Ripley was injured for those months. I think he has to be involved somehow. He's deserved it, he's earned it, and I think he's involved in the finish. I don't think he goes double heel turn against Rhea Ripley, but I think he fucks up, like in a Dominic Mysterio way, helping Becky Lynch, but giving Liv Morgan the title, that kind of thing. He's going to cost her accidentally. It's going to be a lot of back forth, fallout. I don't think we lose the Judgment Day quite yet. People are talking about Finn Balor maybe being involved in this. I don't think they pull the trigger on that yet, just because Damian Priest is in so much stuff right now. Maybe if Damian Priest loses, that is that for Damian Priest's title reign, obviously, and I don't think he wins it back. So I think that would be the natural cause. So I'll say this: I don't think Damian Priest loses. Spoiler alert! But my answer changes. If Damian Priest loses, Liv Morgan wins this match, and it is because of either Finn Balor on purpose, he's betrayed the Judgment Day, which then would give Damian Priest and Finn Balor a path to go off and have this incredible feud which we've wanted for so long, or we're going to see Dominic Mysterio make a little slip up again. Rhea Ripley's going to get all furious again, and then it's going to be a long way back, except Dominic Mysterio doesn't have Liv Morgan completely on board, but maybe she'll think... I don't know how it'll work out, but I do think Liv Morgan has to win if you want to save the longevity of this feud. So yeah, that is my predictions. That's what's happening in the build-up, and that's where we're at going into SummerSlam. I wanted to leave the best till last, but I'm fairly guaranteed certain it's not going to close the show. So let's just go out with it. The best thing in professional wrestling, TNA, AEW, New Japan, all of the independents, Joe Hendry, NXT, there's so much good stuff going on, but nothing, and I repeat, nothing comes even close, not even slightly close, as CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. That alone is the best back and forth, the hottest, the craziest, the most intense rivalry I've even got to watch, and there's nothing has touched the level of just bad blood, no pun intended for later on, the next PLE, in a couple months. Nothing screams bad blood more than Damian Priest. Nothing screams bad blood more than CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Put this into perspective, they burned the briefcase, they literally sacrificed the Money in the Bank briefcase, the literal thing for opportunity in the WWE. They were willing to sacrifice that to build this feud up. And I think, yeah, this feud is the main event. I'm watching this to see how CM Punk is on his first proper, one-on-one singles match back since he came back all that time ago now, back in 2023. All these injuries, we're going to finally see if he can hit the same as he did in the early 2010s. And then on the other side, my personal, I think he's my favourite wrestler right now, genuinely, because this version of Drew McIntyre is funny, scary, intense, genuinely just, I can't look away when he's wrestling. He's just incredible in-ring worker. He always has been, even when he was playing guitar and whatever. He's always been an in-ring worker that has been incredible, and he's just a specimen, basically. So personally, he is, I think, my favourite wrestler right now. He has done such a good job at just selling, getting screwed in Glasgow, in Toronto. His world championship, world heavyweight championship contenders match, he's been selling this rage, and he's been getting bites back like he did on SmackDown at CM Punk's home when he obliterated him, but it's all coming together now. So I've waxed lyrical about this feud, yeah? You throw in probably one of the greatest of all time, and definitely in my era, in this modern era, Seth freaking Rollins is thrown into this, and he's already so engraved into this. He's already had so much going on with Drew McIntyre. He lost the World Heavyweight Championship. His historic reign ended because of Drew McIntyre. He beat him at WrestleMania 40. So he hates Drew McIntyre. But the big money feud actually is CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. It always was. That was the idea. That was the plan. CM Punk's injuries obviously ruined that, but that was where it was going. I think adding Seth Rollins into this is, some people are frustrated with it. I'm not. You don't know who he's going to screw over. Is he going to play fair? You know who he might lean more towards, who he doesn't like. You know he doesn't like either. That kind of thing is what makes this more exciting. It didn't need it. Did it need it? No. Are we glad to have it? I am, personally. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this match. It should close the show, because it's going to be the fallout. Whoever loses is going to be furious at whoever wins and Seth Rollins. And I think, now I said CM Punk, he's the best in the world. I have also said Drew McIntyre might be my favourite wrestler right now. This isn't bias. I do think Drew McIntyre wins, mainly because I think in that moment it's going to be he hates CM Punk more. I think Drew wins, thus setting us up for more of Drew McIntyre, CM Punk. I know that can't go once, that has to follow. But the more CM Punk, gets screwed over by Seth Rollins, the more bitter he'll become. And I don't care which one is the heel, because they're both incredible heels. They're both like anti-heroes. They're the same character either way. We need that match. That match, one-on-one, alone, is going to sell any tickets to any show. I don't care if it's Bad Blood. I don't care if they carry this to WrestleMania, because they can. That is the big money move, and this is the big match. Let's go back to the matches that have gold involved. Gold involved, that rhymes. So, we're going to go back to these matches, and we're going to go with, here, Sami Zayn, or, people are hating on him right now because he's winning, but they always do. And we're going to be talking about Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. So, we're basically getting a repeat of Money in the Bank. Am I upset? No. Mainly because that match was amazing, but 0 spears, 1 haluva kick. Pretty easy win for Sami Zayn. I knew we didn't even skip the fifth of the Braun Breaker that we were expecting, and as good as the opponent gets, Sami Zayn only gets better. So I think this match, they're going to make sure that Drew McIntyre... God, it's late, guys. It's like 2:30. They're going to make sure that Braun Breaker, the badass, comes in with this different energy. I think he wins this match, only because they've been teasing this team up with Jey Uso, which I hope happens, but I hope it doesn't take the main event out of Jey Uso, just because he needs a title reign on a singles run. It can't just be Jimmy comes back. I could talk about that for a while. I love main event Jey Uso. I think he's so over, and I think you've got to give him something. But his time will come. Like another man we're going to talk about, later. So, Sami Zayn has bigger fish to fry with the bloodline. I think there's infinite ways he can go. The only issue is, look, he's held it long enough, and he's had really strong title defenses. The only issue is you did end Gunther's 666 reign for Sami Zayn. But if you're going to make him drop it, make it be the next badass, your next Brock Lesnar, your next big monster, uncontrollable beast in the WWE, and he will be that. Braun Breaker needs to win this, quite frankly. Braun Breaker is going to demolish him in like a really not respectful, but in a way that still makes Sami Zayn look strong. A lot of false finishes, a lot of things that would destroy anyone else. Yeah, but Braun Breaker should be your new Intercontinental Champion. So, pretty simple one here. The pride of Cleveland. Your hometown hero, Logan Paul, versus the real babyface, the real hero, the real man that everyone wants to win. He's incredible. He's the guy who deserves a shot, and it's LA Knight. Now, does Logan Paul lose in his hometown? Yes, he has to. I think Logan Paul is so good at this, and I think he's such a good asset. In terms of stardom, look, WWE could bring in anyone, but as terms of someone who's a star and that good at wrestling, the trash talk, the build-up, we saw whenever he turns up to SmackDown, he is the highlight of the night. Sorry to LA Knight, but he cooked him. He absolutely demolished him in that interview, in that signing. He called him the SpongeBob character, like, for real. He comes up with the best insults in the moment, and obviously, as a person, you could find like a million things that you could say to Logan Paul to just make him shut up, and it's game over. But suspend your reality for a minute, suspend your belief, and you'll see Logan Paul cooked, and LA Knight still looks good in every way. I mean, he's pinned him really recently, but it has to be LA Knight. He needs to win. It's not negotiable. He can't get screwed out. He can't be LA Knighted. Again, he deserves it. He's earned it. Get Logan Paul on any Saudi show you want. He can walk in 2 weeks notice, 1 week notice, 2 days notice, and he will sell the tickets. He will be that guy. But he can't be walking around with this title any longer. It has to be LA Knight. Now we come on to a real big one. This is a big boy. The World Heavyweight Championship between the current reigning defending champion Damian Priest versus Street Trash Gunther, the big bad guy in this, and we're going to talk about it. Big bad guy for the first time I've ever seen him. He's always been this big bad guy, but in terms of everyone being against him, in terms of him making a crowd boo him, Dominic Mysterio style, not being able to talk, trying to get his words out, not going to let him. This is it. This is Gunther's feud that has made him a heel, not a respected, in-ring competitor, trying to protect the sacred ring. He's not doing that right now. It doesn't matter what his, it's clear to see his motivations, but no one cares anymore. It's about, he's the privileged guy who didn't have to work a moment to get here. Everything's been handed to him, and he's throwing that in our faces. And then you've got Damian Priest, a heel. I love what they've done with Damian Priest. I've loved this title reign. I thought every single turn, he's dropping it. Jey Uso, he's dropping it. No, Fine, okay, Drew McIntyre, he's dropping it. No, look, this guy has been a different level when it comes to nothing to something. He was, when he cashed in, incredible moment. It's, you know, your second WrestleMania cash in. It's incredible. What a great moment. That clip, Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley, they were holding the titles at the end of that match. Great. No one believed in Damian Priest. I didn't believe in Damian Priest. You didn't believe in Damian Priest. Now we're here. I mean, what more do you want? He's fought through a botch that could have broken his ankle in a match. He's cut promo after promo where some have been shaky, but the others have been fantastic. He's looked incredible in the ring. He's somehow managed to survive the era of him being called Bisexual Undertaker. He came out of that stronger. He's pushed through all of that, and despite certain botches, despite little things here and there, they've done an incredible job at just making me want him to win. I want him to win so badly. I am now truly babyface in love with Damian Priest, and that is just the truth. It's not what I expected to ever happen, but it's the truth. I want Damian Priest to win. The question is, will he? I think if you think about it on a plain slate, you've got the Intercontinental Champion's best ever holder just coming out of that. He's only been beaten, three times? By two people? 3 times by 3 people? He's not beatable under normal circumstances. But it's SummerSlam, and SummerSlam is never a normal circumstance. I think Damian Priest retains, and I think to legitimise him beyond this title reign as that main event player, that top player who can turn babyface or continue down the path of all rise, doesn't matter, because Damian Priest is that guy who can go either way now. He could feud with Finn and be the babyface, or he can go back to feuding with Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. I'd like to see him as a babyface because I just think this role of came from nothing to come to something. He's got the crowd in the palm of his hand now. I think he wins to legitimize him. This doesn't hurt Gunther. Gunther can eat one loss every now and then, and I think that's where we go with this. And then Gunther is that guy who is going to take this title. It should be at Bash in Berlin. I'd say he'll get a better crowd reaction anyways. At home, he'll be so much more, loved in that area. I think it'll suit him more. We're not talking about later PLEs, we're talking about now. And I think Damian Priest does retain. I think he should retain. Here we go. The final match. I don't think I've forgotten everything. I've gone all 7. I've gone through each and every one. The match I thought was the least well built up was Bayley Nia Jax. And this is a testament to how good everything else has been, given limited time or given the span of 2023 onwards. This match doesn't quite, as an in-ring contest, do it for me in the same way AJ Styles did, in the same way I Quit matches did, in the same way even Logan Paul kind of did more for me than this, mainly because the Bloodline story is definitely in the ring. This isn't going to do anything. In the ring, I cannot see Cody Rhodes losing because there is a path, and that is The Rock. But the only thing really getting me excited for this is the prospect of returns, shocks. I mean, we've just seen Solo Sikoa pin the guy in the WWE. This era's John Cena. We're talking about the big guy, and they've made him eat a pin. They've made this Bloodline, and Jacob Fatu specifically, demolish first ballot Hall of Famers, Kevin Owens. We've seen them demolish the Viper, Randy Orton. And I think the Bloodline 2.0 has to get involved. Eye Patch needs to get involved. Tama Tonga needs to get involved. However, the real selling point for me, and this is why it's going to close the show, the chance, and I'm not saying it is a chance right now, but it needs to be a fact. If this closes the show and Roman Reigns doesn't come back, I don't care if I hear Jimmy Uso's music. I would love it, but I still wouldn't be happy if it was Paul Heyman who came out. It needs to be the real tribal chiefs, I want to hear his music, and I need it to come out, and I need that to end the show. A stare down, Solo Sikoa. It's going to be Solo Sikoa loses. Shenanigans or not, I think Cody Rhodes is going to pull through, and then he'll move on to the next thing, the next big thing, which will be a Randy Orton or whatever needs to be used to carry all the way over to when The Rock is ready to return. However, does Roman Reigns return? Yes, he simply has to. It's been a long enough time, enough things have happened, enough dominoes have fallen, where if he doesn't return now and this ends the show, it doesn't do what it needs to do. This needs to be the exclamation mark, the full stop, the big point to end off your second biggest show on the WWE calendar. Alright, so there you have it. That is SummerSlam painted out, 7 matches, backstory and all, and what I think, prediction-wise, is going to happen in these matches, and where they're going to end up. That is it for today. I'm going to go to bed. It is 3 AM. I need to get used to being able to stay up this late, because in the United Kingdom, you watch it on TNT Sports, and it'll probably finish around 4 AM, the show. There's a 3-hour pre-show. I have no idea what they're doing with that, but I'll probably watch it if I'm interested in it. But it'll start probably at 12 AM for me, and it'll finish probably at 4 AM for me. And it will be a long night, but if it does its job, it will keep me on my toes, it will keep me awake, it will stop at nothing to make sure that I am up and shouting and waking up my neighbours and getting noise complaints. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy wrestling if you care. If you've watched this and you've got to the end and you don't care about wrestling, why have you watched this whole this whole video? But I do so much more on the channel. I talk about football, I talk about gaming, I do a lot of stuff, and yeah, this isn't just a wrestling channel, but I've got passions, and wrestling in the past year has become right up there. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I will see you later with the next video, maybe a SummerSlam reaction video. Stay tuned, thank you very much. I don't know why I hold the microphone, it just seems a bit more like, I don't know, it just seems a bit more like personal, like I'm talking to people.